podcast ever, an iHeartRadio podcast. Chris Harrison coming to you from the home office in Austin, Texas. And this time I'm not alone. Well, I know sometimes Lauren Zima is here with me, but I'm not alone today because joining me again for his second episode is former Bachelor ×2, Brad Womack. How you doing, bud?
Doing great, and thank you for having me, man.
Well,
always good to see you.
I welcomed you into my home because A, you're a good friend, you're a good man. We have kept in touch over the years, which I am so grateful for. And you live here in Austin, kind of, I think. Honestly, that's a weird one, is that I don't know the answer to that. And maybe you don't know the answer to that either. We're going to get to that in a little bit, but you were nice enough to drive across town and join me here at the house today. You were the Bachelor twice. The only person in the history of the show, 2 decades, that was the Bachelor 2 times. And so we had to do a double episode with you.
I appreciate that very much. I'm just glad to be here with you, man. I like hanging out with you.
And if you missed episode 1 with Brad, go back and listen to it. Holy cow. There was some fireworks, breaking news.
Fight stories.
Yeah. So it was 2007 when you were the Bachelor for the first time. Mm-hmm. And obviously, famously, you had walked away. You didn't choose anybody. But while you kind of got hammered a little bit for it, at some point, like a year or so down the road, there was an emotional shift in the country towards Brad Womack. Mm-hmm. I felt it. Did you feel it? All of a sudden, people forgave and loved you again.
Yeah, but you know, I can very happily say that I did feel that for whatever reason, and I'm grateful for it to anyone listening that is on the positive trajectory, so to speak. Thank you. I needed that, but yeah, I did feel that. It felt damn good.
I think if I were to guess, being the psychiatrist I am for the country, you stayed true to yourself.
Thank you.
Never wavered. You never gave in to say things that would have made you popular or taken the heat off at the time. You took it all. And I think owning up to it was big, but also B, I think people realized after a few more seasons of kind of fake proposals and breakups, they saw you and said, maybe he was the most real we ever had.
Oh, well.
And I think there was a respect factor of, I do like this guy. And that was the most emotionally intelligent thing to do.
Thank you, man.
There was this groundswell of support that brought you back into the good graces of everybody.
I appreciate that. I did feel it, and it was so welcome, man. I mean, we discussed it first episode that was a really rough time after the first season. And so, and we discussed, I care what people think about me. And so, yeah, it feels really good to feel that, I guess, the tides turn, so to speak.
But there had to be a bit of a sour taste with how you had left, not the show, but production. Because that final day, if you heard in the first episode, it was contentious.
Sure.
It was brutal. They really went after you in a not so nice way.
Sure.
What made you want to not just do the show, but get back in bed with them again?
Sure. You know, I think I don't judge anybody on this earth for 1 or 2 interactions, right? I mean, I just don't. And, you know, you have to realize, or I have to realize, you know, that show is a machine. There's a lot of production value behind it. There's a lot of money behind it, you know, and I'm sure ratings for one season depend on budget for this next, you know, all of those things. Sure. So if I in any way disrupted that, I can understand the anger.
But you didn't. I mean, your show is highly rated.
Thank you, sir.
I mean,
you said it, I didn't, buddy.
The only reason you were invited back to the party is the first party has to be a success. Trust me.
I love the honesty.
They don't do things out of the kindness of their heart.
No, they don't. I'm learning that. But okay, so, well, that's well said. But maybe it was the unknown. I don't know.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, I really don't. I mean, I like to give people room to be who they are, meaning we all react. I mean, you've seen me react very angrily at times, and hopefully that's not a soul-telling sign of my character, you know? And so anyway, but the reason I wanted to jump back in, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, I believe in the show. I do. Call me a hopeless romantic, but I genuinely believe in that show, or I at least believe that you can meet somebody no matter where you're at. And she might be the one, or he might be the one.
And so it's 2010. We're 3 years later.
Yes, sir.
And we come back full circle and bring back Brad Womack. And this is a very popular choice. By now, off screen, you and I are very good friends.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We've hung out several times. I think it was after when I was actually dating somebody from Austin, Texas. Do you remember when I came?
I didn't want to bring that up.
You can bring it up. We don't have to say who it was.
Sure.
I came to town and I called you, and I just was going to go to dinner or whatever and see you, as I always did when I came into Austin.
Sure.
And you said, no, man, come stay at my place.
Of course, man.
And you let us move into your place for a whole year. And here's the best part. You had this spectacular 2 or 3 bedroom condo.
Come on.
And no, it was amazing. So we get there and I assume we're going to be staying with you.
Right.
You left.
Of course I did.
You packed up and you're like, I'm going to go stay with my brother Chad. And I'm like, dude, I'm not kicking you out of your house, but this is the kind of guy Brad is. He leaves and gives me the keys to his condo for the weekend. You're such a good guy. Well, it was unreal. The other thing that really blew me away, and I didn't finish the story in episode 1. Yes, you gave me a shirt and you gave me a parting gift after the show, but there was another time that I saw this guy and said, could this be real? Is he really the nicest guy I've ever known? My 40th birthday. Remember that?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
So my 40th
Good
birthday,
times.
I came here with all my family and friends to celebrate over on Lake Travis, and I rented a house, and we had the boats, the jet skis, we're having a great time. We pull up to the house and it's like, it's actually kind of pre-Airbnb. It's just a rental house.
Sure.
So we're renting this house and there's somebody scurrying out of the house. And I'm like, son of a bitch, like this thing's supposed to be empty. And I'm trying to impress my friends and family. I want this to be awesome. And somebody is here. And I'm like, what is going on? And I see this person back, coming out of the house, and I look and we get closer. I'm like, that's Brad Womack. What? And that Brad Womack had taken it upon himself, because he's a bar owner. You had fully stocked the house. You brought a whole bar and dropped it off at our house, just set it up for my birthday, and was leaving like a thief in the night luckily I got to see you and give you a hug and said thank you. And you're like, I don't want to stay. I don't want to thank you. I just wanted you to have a good time, bud. And you took off. Sure. We ended up seeing you for dinner later.
Yes,
we came
did.
into town, but those stories, that's why you will always be one of my favorite human beings to ever have been on the show.
Thank you, man.
You always went above and beyond. It was never about you.
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, you're my friend, right? Period. And so friends mean a lot to me, but also you did a lot for me. And I don't want to get too cheesy and stuff, but I'm very grateful for the experiences that I've had. I'm grateful for the friendships that I've made. And so, yeah, that was a blip. I really appreciate you mentioning that. But when I say that was a blip, to me, it was a gesture to say thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, well, that's all I got.
Why everybody loves Brad.
Because
you do well. Because I know those are one-offs, but you do that stuff all the time, and I know for a fact you do, and that's why we all love you. So you go into 2010,
yes, sir,
and you are the Bachelor again, and you said in episode 1 it wasn't about redemption. You didn't need to clear your name because you are beloved. Everybody loved you, even though we all gave you a hard time, and I think one woman even slapped you on night 1.
Yes, she did. Kind of liked it. I mean, it showed fire. I mean, let's face it showed fire.
So one of the producers obviously came up with the idea that a woman would get out of the car and slap Brad and said, I think she said, this is for the whole country or something.
For all the women across America. Yeah. I think that's a direct quote. And can I say something? That woman did not hold back, man. No. Oh, my God.
She gave you a legit slap.
She rang my bell, Chris.
That's how the season started.
Sure.
And that was obviously the famous season with Emily Maynard.
Yeah.
You were partially and unfortunately maybe responsible for creating maybe our biggest star.
Emily. Sure. Yeah. Well, no, that's self-creation,
she
man.
She was an absolute rock star. Yeah. That is the season where we put her on the map was
yes, sir.
This sweet mom.
Sure.
And back then, I think her daughter was only like 2 or 3 years old at the time. It was very young. And she came on your show. And by then we were traveling.
Yes, we were. Yeah.
And I forget where all we went, but I know we ended up in South Africa.
We did. Anguilla, Cape Town.
That's right. Oh my God. I swear to you. So Lauren and I just did a auction for experience camps, this amazing camp for people who have lost a significant a caretaker, a mom and dad, or a sibling.
Mhm.
And we auctioned off a trip to Anguilla.
Did you really?
And I said, it's Brad Womack season. We went to Anguilla. We were at the Cuisinart Resort.
Yes, we were. To this day, the prettiest place I've ever seen.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah. But I back to Emily,
Yes.
as far as her stardom, so to speak.
Yeah.
I had absolutely nothing to do with her light. That's her.
No, that was the season we introduced her.
I got you. Okay,
Yeah.
got you. Yeah,
No.
she's just natural, man.
Oh, my
And,
gosh.
just a beautiful person inside and out. So,
Just jumped off the screen.
yeah, man.
There are some people that just captivate you.
Yeah, of course.
JoJo was
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah, I've always wanted to meet her, and
you guys are so similar because again, Texas people.
Yeah.
Her and Jordan
Yeah.
are amazing.
I've heard this. Yeah,
Oh.
both of them. I want to meet both of them. Let me clarify that.
Yeah,
So,
no, I know what you meant.
Okay.
JoJo and Jordan, and Raven and Adam are another couple you got to meet here in
Oh,
Texas
yeah.
that are just
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
JoJo is another one where you just saw, you're like, she just jumps off the screen.
Yes, she does.
Has this
Yeah.
thing about her. But Emily Maynard
Mhm.
was your final choice. You
Yeah,
actually
man.
did choose somebody in that season.
yes, I did.
Did you feel the extra pressure coming towards the end there to actually make that choice? Because I know we worried more about landing that plane, as we called it on the show,
Sure.
because it's like the movie Runaway Bride. It's like, we've seen this before.
Sure.
Is he really going to pull the trigger?
I hear that.
And I wanted this for you. I actually,
thank you, man.
by now we're friends,
Right.
and I really want you to find love. And I thought it was happening.
Right. Well, I wanted it for me too, and I can't lie and say I didn't feel any pressure at all. Of course I did.
Yeah.
Of course I did. But I'll tell you, man to man, I wouldn't have chosen anybody if I didn't feel what I felt for Emily.
Yeah.
And what I felt for Emily at that time, for me, was love. And people, I'm sure there are scoffs going across the nation right now, right? What I felt in that moment, I felt like I was in love with this woman, period.
Well, you make decisions with the knowledge you have and the feelings you have at the time.
Of course.
It's easy to look back and be like, oh, that was crazy. That first marriage was terrible. It's like, at the time, it's what we knew.
Buddy,
And
that
that's how
just
you
be
felt.
my pride and ego talk
Yeah.
and say, oh, yeah, I didn't care about her because she dumped me.
Yeah.
But, but sorry for the laugh, but no, I'm kidding. It's, no, I genuinely had very strong feelings for her. I take marriage and engagements very seriously, of course.
Yeah.
And I felt lucky as hell, man, that she was there and accepted.
Waiting to see the doctor, you get well, fat will be rushed to your door. Live, work, and play together. Small Island, and secrets don't stay secret.
For presenting the latest in cancer.
I was trying to think, who was number 2 in that season? Who else? Who
No, it was Chantal.
Oh, Chantal.
Yeah,
okay.
which
I was trying to think of the others. The other stars on that season was Michelle Money.
Oh, Michelle Money, man.
One of my favorite human beings.
Yeah, me too, actually. Yeah,
that's right. I
me
remember
too.
were we in Costa Rica?
We went to Costa Rica.
That's
You're
right. I
exactly
think you
right.
said goodbye to Michelle was in Costa Rica.
You're exactly right.
We were in the Arenal region of Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Down where the volcano was blowing up.
Is she happy, Michelle?
Oh my gosh! So she was going to just kind of be a life partner with Mike Weir, the golfer.
Okay,
but they ended up getting married.
Good for her,
And so
man.
they are married, and her
Good for her.
daughter is healthy and fully recovered when she had her trauma. And I talk to Michelle from time to time, and obviously I'm a huge golf fan, so I keep in touch.
Sure.
And she is as explosive and phenomenal and charismatic as she was when she was on the show.
It's funny, and I hope she listens to this because I get asked about her more than anybody.
Yeah.
And is she really like that? And I can't sing her praises enough because one, I love when people are just authentic.
Yeah, she is very real. Like when what you see with money is what you get with money.
Yes, you do, and beautiful. I mean, strikingly gorgeous woman, and I think she owns that a little bit. I kind of like it. You know,
she does.
So,
she walks the walk.
So yes, she does. So anyway, I'm glad she's happy.
Yeah,
man.
her and Mike are doing great,
Good.
and I saw her out there. My son was playing a lacrosse tournament. This is pre-college, and we swung by and. I actually went to their house because we were going to the airport and we're all sweaty and nasty. We actually went to her and Mike's house to shower up and have lunch, and then we went to the airport. But I keep in touch with her, and she's doing really well. I was trying to think who other, because that was a star-studded show.
Oh man, both Ashleys were. is it Abear and
Ashley Abear, Spivey?
It's Spivey. Yes, I've heard Ashley Spivey doesn't like me. I mean, I don't even pay attention to any of that
Ashley
anymore.
Abear, who also went on to be our Bachelorette.
Yeah, I mean, amazing woman.
Yeah, that was I was trying. There's certain seasons that produced stars.
Sure.
It was just all stars.
Yeah,
for one reason or another. And for that season to produce 2 Bachelorettes and stars that went on to Paradise and Summer Games, and all these things we did, all the incarnations of the show. So you may not have found love, but you gave us a lot of stars.
Well, I found love. It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And so
you did. So you left the show engaged.
Yes, I did. And I'm proud to say that, and Emily was a great addition to my life and great, I guess, I hate to say experience. I don't know. It was
a chapter. It was a chapter of your life.
Perfect way to put it. And, I have literally no regrets on that. And, it is what it is. We're definitely 2 different people. And so you learn that, when you go through.
And like Michelle Money, I mean, Emily is, married and children, many children.
Yeah.
Do it. She's just crushing it and happy as can be. And, adore her too.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm glad she's doing well.
Me too, man.
And Ashley Abear as well. It's funny. I keep in touch, especially back then. The people that came off the show, it's like we just all got closer at the time. We spent a lot of intimate time together.
Of course, man. Yeah.
The show got more professional as we went on, but that also kind of detached us in a way from some emotions and connections of relationships that we built on the show.
Right.
But famously, obviously, you and Emily didn't work out.
Right.
What has life been like kind of post show? You obviously had the bars here in Austin.
Sure.
That was amazingly successful. You opened some in Houston. You opened bar in Nashville. You and your brother, your partners created an amazing business. But what about love?
Yeah.
I've known, and hopefully I'm okay to out you. I know you've dated a couple times.
Of course.
You've had some serious relationships.
Of course.
But as far as I know, nothing's stuck.
No, nothing. So, so I dated a girl for about 7 years, after Emily. And it's one of those things that things just kind of fizzled, unfortunately. It's just one of those things. Madly in love with a woman at the time, and you just move on. Right now, I'm kind of laying low. It's and I'll tell you why. It's you mentioned the bars, and I know I mentioned this when I got here, but we just recently sold our company, and while that's really exciting, I'm in the biggest transition of my life, man.
It's weird.
I had moved to Nashville to kind of we were going to expand out there, and then decided maybe this isn't the road we want to go down. And when I say we, my business partners.
Right.
But anyway, and so there's nothing for me in Nashville, so now I'm moving back. So bottom line is it's really, really hard to even ask a girl on a date when I don't have a home to go to, I'm staying with my brother right now. I'm looking for a home in Austin.
Nothing's changed.
Trying to figure out, what's next in life.
Well, you're at an interesting point in your life. You're you and I are both just on the other side of 50.
Yes, sir.
And which is an interesting time anyway.
It is,
when
man.
you really take stock in your life and you get kind of reflective and you think, okay, what do I want for the back nine of life?
That's the thing.
And you have just, and especially when you have a major cash event, you've cashed out, whatever that means. It could be good, bad, whatever.
Sure.
You've hit 2 pivotal moments in your life.
Sure.
Turning 50 and then getting out of your business. Now you have to decide, what is that? What does it look like now? What is the why? What's the how?
The purpose, you know, and you and I discussed purpose a long time ago, right? And frankly, my biggest purpose is work. I don't know why. I've always been that way. And so now I'm kind of lost a little bit. I've recently joined a new company and I'm really excited about that. It's
so you're working again.
Well, I am. Man, I just started last week and it's I know. I can't help it, man. It's but I believe in this company. It's and I don't know if I have the capacity or whatever or to describe it. I don't want to bore your listeners or anything, but
in general, what do you do?
I'll tell you, it's called The Collective. It's here in Austin, but we're expanding nationwide. It's a social performance club, and what that is, it's state-of-the-art training facility. We have an athletic recovery lounge. We have a co-working space. We have a
Wait, is this the one that's in downtown Austin right
yes, and I'm trying to get you and Lauren in there.
Dude,
come on in.
I have heard about this.
It's a good deal, buddy.
Every professional athlete within 1,000 miles of here goes there.
So I'm glad you're bringing that up because I'm trying to be humble.
No,
but,
dude, this is crazy. I had no idea you were involved in this. I have had several people, professional athletes, tell me you have to go. I think it's downtown Austin, right? Somewhere.
So there's two locations.
Okay.
The one I office out of is on South Congress, right behind St. Cecilia.
Okay.
And then we have a location up north. But but I mean, you would love it. Our membership base, and it's not all professional athletes. It's everyday guys like me.
Right.
But I want to bring up something important. We also have a full-blown medical practice within the facility.
Okay.
And what that means is, peptides are all the rage now and all of that. And so we do all of that. You can get your blood work done. And so I really believe in the expansion of this business.
That's amazing.
And so, man.
Well, Jesus, you're a walking billboard.
Come on,
you are, dude.
Well, I appreciate it.
You've always been built like a brick outhouse, but
I appreciate
it. We're on the other side of 50 now, and it's not that easy to look like that now.
I'm trying. We just discussed I'm single, but somewhat perpetually. I need to keep up, with all the cool kids.
Well, congratulations on that. And by the way,
man.
the collective, I love that you guys are expanding, and I will come see it because I've heard amazing things.
Yeah, man.
So you're diving into that.
Sure.
Which I get. And by the way, you can't stop what you love to do. And if work is something that's passionate to you,
it is.
You should continue that passion.
Thank you, man.
You can only go play so much pickleball or golf or whatever. It's like you got to keep your mind active, and you're good at it, clearly.
Thank you, man. Well, that's the thing about it. It's, I'll be really honest. I think like anybody, when we were going through our exit for the business, I'm going to admit this to you. I mean, I was looking at homes in the mountains, and here's my chance. I'm out, buddy. I'm out.
Well, this is go.
All I was going to say, careful what you wish for, because I sat on my butt for about a month, and I went out of my mind.
Yeah,
and I could not be happier with the leaders, the CEO and founders of Collective. I know those guys are really good dudes, and just said, "Hey,
that's awesome.
I think you can add value to us."
Yeah,
and so I jumped right in, and we'll see what happens.
In your kit. Order yours online. Amherst Estate and the French come to play. But be warned
now. The annual meeting.
So I'll crack the door on, my own situation.
Yeah, please.
Well, because I went through something very similar. Yeah. I was, when I left the show a few years ago, even though it was tumultuous and it made your first season look really tame.
Yeah, sure. I can only imagine.
But with that said, I had gotten to the point in my life where I was fine. And
of course,
I thought there was a brief moment where I thought, okay, you can be done. Do you want to be done?
Yes.
Do you want
That's
to just,
the question.
With social media, with everything going on,
yep.
Family is the most important thing to me. And I was already falling in love with Lauren, saw a life there and was working really hard on that. My kids are older and I'm coming close to being an empty nester.
Mm-hmm.
You just hang it up and, like you said, go find that place in the mountains
sure.
or go down to Cabo. And I spent a little time post divorce from the show and allowed myself to heal, allowed myself to feel that. And I quickly realized I can't do that either.
Oh, I know you can't.
I can't, I just couldn't walk away and do nothing.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's not who you are. And I want to jump in on something and turn it on you.
Yes.
So I'm not taking over your podcast.
No.
That'd be a disaster.
Hey, there's no rules here.
Two things. Well, actually three. The first thing, I think that's the best thing that ever happened to you, man. One, I think you are that franchise, period. You are the show. Everyone knows it. And I'm not going to get into my feelings of right or wrong, but that was the best thing that happened to you. You and LZ, I'm talking after everything.
Yeah.
I've never seen two people that are so meant to be with each other. When I had dinner with you guys, I was in awe. I mean, you're finishing each other's sentences, kind of nauseating. You both are just so full of love with each and respect for each other. So that's another great thing that happened. I also heard through the grapevine that you're getting back into production, a reality dating show. I mean, you can't stay away. This is what I've heard, but I mean, look at you, man. You are a producer, right? I mean, you produce and you work. And so I could have told you weren't going to hang it up. I mean, that's just not you. And I'm happy for you, buddy.
Yeah, we're involved. Thank you. By the way, thank you for all the accolades and the love. And you're right. Lauren is easily the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. She is. God, she's such a treasure, and on so many levels. And we had the dinner with you. We went to Uchi, one of our favorite joints here in Austin. Man, Tyson Cole, give you a shout out, but not that he needs it. You can't get in there anyway.
Man. Yeah.
That guy prints money. And I've gotten to know him, by the way.
Great guy.
Really interesting guy. Unbelievably fascinating.
Sure.
But that dinner, I remember that vividly. And we were still fairly new at the time. I don't think we were even engaged. And I was so excited for you to meet her because, she's just such a jewel in my life. And she was kind of the impetus for, hey, you're not even close to done, but
of course,
let's get your shit back together. And so we, and talk about your first point, the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Blessings and gifts from God and, answered prayers and all that. They don't always come in a box, with a bow under the tree. It's never how you ask for it. Right.
Sure.
But they show up in your life just the same.
Very true.
And I did need an event in my life to get me out of one thing and get me to the next.
Yep.
Because complacency, whatever you call it, I was comfortable. I was working. You're making a lot of money. Yep. Life is good. Why are you going to upset the apple cart?
I also think you're loyal, man.
That's a big part of it.
Yep. And sometimes to your own fault, I think you're loyal.
Well,
but I know
for sure.
I know. I'm saying it. You don't have to.
Thank you.
But no, I do. And I'm glad you see that. But it's not like you to walk away from anything. And best thing that could ever happen to you, man.
I totally agree with you. And it just takes you a minute to kind of see that from the 30,000 foot level that everybody else sees it. And you were, and by the way, to credit you, you've always been a dear friend. One of the first people to reach out to me and just say, I love you. I'm here. If you need me, if you need to escape, I'm here. You got, come in and take over my house again. But I appreciate the fact that you never questioned, never just were there.
Oh man. Well, of course you're my friend.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so I always was grateful for that. And Lauren quickly realized, oh, this is a good man.
Well, I appreciate that, man. But back to her. Let's sing her praises again.
We're sitting below all her Emmy awards.
I know, right? But
the house that Lauren built.
I won't waste too much time, but it's a real good feeling to see two people that are just meant and job well done.
We were so
man.
bummed you could. So you weren't at our wedding.
Yeah.
Clearly you were invited.
Yeah.
You had an unfortunate event and you were at a funeral.
Tough, man. Yeah.
Unfortunate, but I'm glad you were there.
Yeah.
But we missed you, man, because it just wasn't the same without you here in Austin.
You know what's so funny is I listened to one of your podcasts that you were going over, just kind of recapping, right? And all of that's fun. It's more, I'm really sorry I couldn't support my friend. I just wanted to see, because that's such a big moment with LZ in particular.
Yeah.
Because
you'd gotten to know her.
Of course. But just seeing you guys so happy. And then let's face it, man, I'll admit I would have loved to have met some of the people from the past.
Yeah, they would have loved you too.
Well, that's yet to be determined, buddy.
Well, we had a dinner here. We had a little cocktail party here at the house the night before. And it was like 30 or 40 of us. It was just our kind of tight-knit group. And obviously you would have been there to meet everybody. And that was a really cool night because it's where kind of old school met new school and everybody kind of crossed over. And it was a really special, like intense, emotional night.
Yeah.
But the fact that Lauren and I have moved on, created this new endeavor with Merritt Street Media, which is on the air now with Dr. Phil.
I've heard this.
Having Dr. Phil come in my life, and I have to give his wife credit as well. Robin, who's amazing, and they're friends of ours now. Like, what a treasure! Like, and that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't left.
There you go.
If that moment didn't happen,
right?
That jarring, tumultuous time led to this incredible endeavor that we've created now here in Texas.
So what more could you ask for?
Nothing.
Right?
Like nothing. I have the woman of my dreams. We're starting this incredible blank slate of a production,
right?
That we can do what we want and throw it against the wall and have a proponent in our corner like Dr. Phil. I guess the only question is, are you ready for a third time?
Let's go. No, who knows, man?
We are doing a reality show about love.
I'll tell you this, buddy. I've learned never to say never, but I also know my lane, man, and when to stay in it.
Know my limits.
Yeah, I do, buddy. I maybe the geriatric version of whatever dating show, but no, man. I mean, never say never. Who knows? But back to you. I'm really proud of you. Or happy for you, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Fun stuff. Sure.
Always feeling your love, and those that were a part of the show that understood.
Yeah.
And there were those inside the show or who had been inside the show that know what really happened, and they know what really goes on and what really went on behind the scenes that led to it.
Yeah.
I always appreciated their silent support and love, and that meant the most to me.
I bet.
And you were a part of that. I will always be grateful.
Oh, of course.
And to move on is I know the chapter you're in right now because we're in the same chapter, and I get it. I've never been more excited.
Yeah, man.
Maybe because we don't have to do it.
But that's the thing. That's such a good point. That's another thing Chad and I both promised ourselves that anything that we do after this, we're going to absolutely love it. Yeah. And I mean, love it. And thank God I found that. And we'll see. And obviously you did too, but, life's short, man.
It is.
I mean, life's really short.
It's, my mom has a great saying. She says, life is too short, but it's equally too long to be miserable.
Yeah,
and
there you go. Yeah.
And whether that's your marriage or a toxic relationship or a bad business or whatever. And honestly, that was my whole thing with Lauren and falling in love and marrying her.
Yeah.
It's not that I had to get married the first time, but I was young and it's what you do, right? Sure. You're checking off boxes.
Yeah.
And I did marry a very fine woman who became a good mom and all that. But with Lauren, I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, man.
She didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
She had been married before and I had been married before. I have kids. I didn't need to. It's that I wanted to with my whole heart and being. It's like I got to that point in life where I'm like, I want to do this with you. I want to do life with you. And so when you are free and uninhibited like that, man, it's powerful.
Well, now you're just bragging, man. I'll hang it up.
That is a humble brag. But just I feel like that.
Let me know what I don't have.
But I feel like that in my business life too. And doing, and by the way, I'm doing it all with Lauren. Yeah. And you're going to do it as well with the collective, or whatever it leads to.
Sure. Yeah.
You're going to do it because you want to.
Well, that's the thing I love about you guys. I mean, an absolute power couple, and you can share creativity and all of that, and so keep plugging through or pushing forward because you guys are doing some big things.
So
let's hear it.
I'm curious because I have pondered this and I've talked about this with many people.
Uh-oh.
And I just want to know from you, like, why do you think you haven't found true love?
Oh, that's a good question, man. I'm a lot to deal with, I'm not the most nurturing guy. But again, back to work, man. We really did work a lot.
You are a nurturing guy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You are such a nurturing guy.
I appreciate that. Okay, I'll take that.
Do you think it's just timing? Like
maybe timing,
and just things haven't it's because it's not like you haven't been in serious relationships. It's just you commit 7 years and then 7 years go by.
Yeah,
and then you commit 5 years and then 5 years go by. Is it just a timing thing? And
maybe something. I'll admit one thing.
Yeah.
I find immense solace in solitude. And so I find that sometimes if I'm in a very serious relationship, I produce less, if that makes sense. And you know what I mean? And so
because you dive in 100% to that relationship.
Absolutely, man. Okay. I'm so concerned about her well-being.
Okay.
And that, it's how it should be. It's how it should be. But I tend to, I'm really comfortable being alone. I mean, really comfortable being alone.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of times, especially a partner that you are in love with, doesn't see the value in alone time.
So you need someone who is fiercely independent.
I do.
And because I don't think
I'm
to you.
Well,
now, I don't think to your degree, but I like being alone.
Do you?
Yeah, I like my time alone because I spent so much time alone.
Yeah,
for 20 years.
Yeah.
When I was traveling with the
On
show,
road, yeah,
I was alone. Like when we were in South Africa and you're out looking at elephants or whatever, I was at that Sabi Sands resort.
Yeah,
by myself.
It's a great point.
For a week.
Yeah, great point.
In the middle of effing nowhere.
Yeah.
I would see a couple people from the crew, whatever, but it was I had to really learn to be alone, and that's a good skill to have. But you got to be careful because, like you said, it could take over your life, and you can almost want that and need it so much that you rail against finding companionship.
Maybe that's it, man. You are a therapist. I love this. I needed this, but no, I think you hit the nail on the head. And I'm beginning to learn a little bit that, I value relationships immensely. And frankly, I want a relationship badly, and one that's permanent,
But I think you need someone like Lauren. Like Lauren's great because for many reasons, but one of the things she does, she has a very badass group of girlfriends.
Yeah.
They have been best friends since college. They take these girls trips and they talk, or she'll just up and leave and go see her mom in Chicago or her sister in Florida or whatever. Yeah. She just goes.
Yeah.
She's like, I need time away from you too.
I like that. I really like that.
Even within the house sometimes she's like, I need a Bravo night. I'm going to go just watch Bravo and stay away.
I love it.
And I know to go into the other side of the house and, I'll watch Golf Channel.
Sure.
But I think that is important.
Maybe so. Yeah.
I think you need somebody who understands to love fiercely and intensely, but it's more about quality than quantity. And that, Brad Womack needs some time. Go work. Go do your thing.
Sure.
When I do get you, I'll take you.
Oh, man. I give, that's one thing I can say. I give 100% of myself when the time comes, obviously, I don't know, man. I've obviously been asked that question a lot. I promise nothing is too strange up there, but
well, that's the thing is I know there's not. Like, I know you're a great guy. I mean, look at you. You're still, a handsome devil.
Come on.
And that's all there. And I know that deep down there is this, I always say with Brago, because a lot of people have asked me, because you're one of my big conundrums in life, where it's like I'm like grabbing these two extension cords, and they're like so close to plugging in. I'm like, I just can't quite figure out like why this amazing dude. But
it's funny.
Life's funny and love's funny like that.
It is, and maybe you hit the nail on the head. I just need to find someone that's and when I say fiercely independent, that doesn't need or expect a text every hour or something. I mean, we're all doing our thing, and I'm damn sure not sleeping around. I've never cheated or anything, And so, all of that. And
someone who can trust and understand, but go live your life. And that's, I think that is out there. And that's an important thing when you go into that next relationship, to define it as such and not put the cart before the horse, to where you all dive in and you show this one life but need another. It's almost like when you get into this life, it's like, hey, I needed to define at 52, 51 years old, I need to just define the kind of relationship I'm looking for.
There you go. Yeah. You're going to see an application come through for your reality show 5 minutes after I leave here.
We got this.
Why not? Let's go. Let's go.
But I'm excited you're moving back to Austin, man.
Thank you, man.
If you need a place to stay in the meantime, if Chad kicks you out, I got an extra room for you.
Careful what you wish for.
I owe you a few days of rent.
Not at all. But I know your son's coming back home. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
And seems like your family, man, just some really highly motivated people.
We're in a good season right now.
That's good.
I always say life is full of seasons.
Yes, sir.
There are good ones. There are bad ones. We will all have bad ones. Lord knows. We're in a good season right now.
I like that for you, man.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, there you go. I will too. But
and just when you're in a good season, you just got to enjoy it. You know.
I agree with that. And, well, hopefully, man, when I'm back permanently, I'd love to take you and Lauren to dinner or something.
You know it. It's going to happen.
I'd love to.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, of course. Thank you
for everything.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I said this to you before we got on here. I'm going to say this publicly, that if you ask me to do something, I'm going to do it, because I know it comes from a great place, and I just want to hang out with you. So good to see you, man.
Thanks for listening. Follow us on Instagram at The Most Dramatic Pod Ever, and make sure to write us a review and leave us 5 stars. I'll talk to you next time. You like to